We're continuing our coverage of AIBC Dubai, and with me is one of the world's foremost experts on esports and gaming. Very big industry. A lot of people don't understand, Paul. I'm here with Paul Dawalibi. He is the CEO of Holodeck Ventures. A lot of people don't understand, Paul, that gaming in terms of revenue is larger than the movie industry and the music industries combined.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people watching this might not understand gaming because they're not gamers themselves, but everyone likes money, and there's a lot of money to be made. Welcome to my show, to Paul.
David, thank you so much for having me. Look, in most parts of the world, people call me actually the prophet. Okay. This is what I'm better known as.
Prophet with F.
With an F.
F-I-T.
I have to be careful, yeah.
You don't predict the future, well you could.
I do, that's the play on words.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, but fundamentally I think people always think gaming is for little kids, right? It's something that kids do in their basement and it's not big business. But like you said, industry bigger than music, movies, and TV combined actually. So massive industry already, and I think what will be the biggest wealth creator over the next 20 years.
Okay. Biggest misconceptions of the esports industry, what are they?
Biggest misconception for gaming, I think in general, not just esports, is that this is not serious business. That this is not something that matters as much as something like crypto or Metaverse. People see gaming, I think, as a misperceived as something just for kids.
How do we make money on video games?
Well, I think about it this way. I think if you look at one of the most stable trends in the history of humanity is that over time we have more and more leisure time, more and more recreation time, especially as AI is going to take all our jobs, we have more and more leisure time. And the reality of that is now people need to fill that time with entertainment, with leisure. And it's my core belief that gaming, if we define gaming as the creation of virtual worlds, gaming will come to dominate every form of entertainment on the planet, and even many businesses on the planet. That it takes over music, movies, TV, all of these things get essentially swallowed by gaming. And so gaming becomes not only a massive multi-billion-dollar industry, I think we're talking about trillions, tens of trillions over the next 20 years.
So it's going to become a way of life?
Yeah.
A lot of that has to do with the hardware, right? I don't envision my grandmother playing PS5.
This is true.
So walk us through how everyone is going to be involved with gaming.
So I call my company Holodeck, and it's actually an old Star Trek reference.
Okay.
And the holodeck in Star Trek was a room. You could go into the room and you could ask it for any reality you want. You could say, I want to go skiing in the Alps. And all of a sudden the room turns into snow and it's cold.
I've watched those episodes on Star Trek.
Yes.
Okay.
But I think this is closer than people think. Holodeck technology is 15 years away. And so everything we think of in terms of clunky headsets and controllers, all of this is gaming today. This is not gaming tomorrow.
Have you built a prototype?
I have not personally, but there's a lot of companies, startups working on interesting technologies to engage your senses in future holodecks. Smell, taste, touch, all of these things in virtual worlds.
Do we have the computing power necessary to run this kind of a simulation on this scale?
Today, no. But again, these are one of the, I think this is why, if you look at like NVIDIA, this is why the stock has done sort of up and to the right over the last 10 years, because a lot of the computing power, this is what they're developing and this is where we're going.
Give us an investment thesis here. So my investment prof, one of them at McGill, where I study finance, Montrealer, so you'll relate. He said to us that you invest in not just the business, but the ecosystem around the business. Let's say you like Apple. You buy all the third-party apps making apps for Apple.
Yep.
You buy all the accessories companies making accessories for Apple because you believe the Apple brand will grow. Let's assume you're right. In 20 years, everyone's going to be involved with gaming in some way. What's the ecosystem we need to be involved with? You mentioned NVIDIA. What else?
Yeah, so I think you have to break it down in a number of verticals. So there's content, so it's all the game development, it's all the 3D sort of virtual world kind of development that will need to be done to build these future metaverses and games. So that's an exciting sort of vertical. You have all the infrastructure, whether that's networking, whether that's technology, whether like hardcore technology, like NVIDIA or things like that are building the nuts and bolts to power that industry. And then I think you have all of the how do we get to that holodeck future? So it's all the brand new stuff we haven't even thought of in terms of engaging your senses and making totally immersive experiences. But I think beyond that, there's a layer today even that's really exciting where gaming and gamification are intersecting with traditional industries. I'm seeing gaming seeping into education. I'm seeing gaming seeping into banking. And these are bets I would make, companies that are thinking very forward thinking and how they're gamifying their user experiences today.
Okay, some people don't understand what the future is going to look like relative to the metaverse. So the metaverse is this big fuzzy buzzword that I hear at every single crypto and AI conference I go to.
Yeah.
I asked 10 people how to define it. I got 10 different definitions. Yeah. I guess you'll be my 11th. How do you define the metaverse?
I guarantee you my definition will be different from the other 10. Metaverse has nothing to do with crypto, has nothing to do with Web3.
We're going to get to why some people might disagree with you, but I want to hear this.
It's typical crypto people who want to latch onto something that doesn't belong to them.
Okay.
But fundamentally, I think metaverse has existed for a while. It's not a new word.
Right.
If you played World of Warcraft,
I have.
Grand Theft Auto,
I have.
You existed in a metaverse. You disconnected from the real world and you existed in this alternate universe. You cared about the avatar that you played. This is not new. And so metaverse can and will exist without crypto, without blockchain, without any of these things. Now, where I'm really excited is I think there's a future where people spend decades of their life plugged in. Absolutely plugged in with no reality, no connection to the real world.
Give us some applications of the metaverse that would appeal to everybody. I mean, you mentioned GTA, you mentioned World of Warcraft, predominantly a male audience between the ages of 15, 34. How do we capture the female audience? How do we capture an older audience? How do we capture kids?
Yeah, I think you have to simplify to first principles. The metaverse has to be fun to be successful. And as a word, honestly, I use it interchangeably with gaming. Because what metaverse was a word that people used to describe gaming that felt more adult. This was always the challenge with gaming, as an investor even. It was seen as something for kids, and metaverse now is a new word that allows serious investors to look at gaming type startups and gaming type investments. But I think if you focus on fun, at its core, this makes gaming and metaverse accessible to anyone, and it has massive impact on multiple industries, healthcare, education, etc. But the focus has to be on fun.
So you've been involved in the venture capital space as well, I understand. Somebody comes up to you, Paul, gives you a pitch. He's got a metaverse company.
Yeah.
He's got a game company.
Yeah.
Tell us, walk us through the criteria you're looking for before you move further with this guy.
Yeah, if it's a metaverse or a gaming company, and I get a lot of these pitches, and I can tell you 90% of them look like this. It's token, tokenomics, economics, token. By the way, we're making a game, token. And there is, I think, where you lose me, because I think the fun part is what brings people back to the experience, and no metaverse today has managed to achieve the kind of stickiness that even the most basic game does, like a Fortnite or a Roblox or a Minecraft.
Right.
And the reason is because the current metaverse platforms don't focus on fun.
I completely understand what you're saying. Let's just talk about Meta. Facebook, now called Meta.
Yeah.
I've been seeing their prototypes of Mark Zuckerberg playing virtual boxing with this guy who was dressed up in motion detectors. He was physically boxing with somebody. It wasn't in the metaverse. It was just like a live boxing match with motion detectors. There's companies moving into the virtual meeting space with avatars. Yeah. I don't see how that's fun. Maybe some people disagree with me.
No, yeah, I think you're right.
Don't understand. Help us understand what big tech is doing with the metaverse space.
So I think the role of big tech is always to legitimize a new technology, not to necessarily lead the way. And so what Meta has done for the industry is it's brought the metaverse word into the mainstream so that anyone who hears it knows something of what they're hearing. So I think that's a big service to the industry.
Right.
Now, do I think their approach is going to be massively successful long term? No, I think the lack of focus on fun is a big problem, because I think even if you're going to build technology and experiences that are workplace focused, there still needs to be a fun aspect to keep people coming back and not look at the Web 2 experience. But I think the real sort of ace in the hole for Meta, if they have any, is Oculus. Because today this is really the best on-ramp for metaverses and for VR in general. And by owning that technology, if they can push that forward to where it's accessible to anybody, that could be a game changer for them.
I've used VR headsets. Maybe this is just a personal experience, no hate, but I was always dizzy, felt nauseous after 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Personally, I think the biggest obstacle to massive on-ramp is the hardware.
No question. I think one thing, though, if you look at the history of technology, is that hardware problems tend to get solved over time. And technology sort of figures out a way. And I agree with you, there's a lot of people who share your experience. They put something on, they feel dizzy, they feel sick. But this is getting a lot better, and I can tell you current gen headsets are worlds better than even ones from a few years ago.
I want no headset. I want Holodeck.
Me too.
Let's get that out next year, man.
Let's do it.
Okay. Final words to the audience. If I were to make money as a video game player, not an investor, how do I do that?
You have to be really good at the game, so you have to put your 10,000, 15,000 hours in. You have to practice. It's like being an athlete in any other sport, and they're treated like athletes, and it's maybe even more competitive than traditional sports because men and women play on an equal playing field, right? There's no physical advantage just because I'm tall or big. So making money as a gamer, as a player, is really tough, and if you're over 30, you probably, that opportunity has passed. Where I think there's massive opportunity on the gaming side, not necessarily business focused, is as a creator. There's tons of streamers playing games online, making incredible livings on Twitch, on other platforms, streaming their gameplay. And if you're entertaining, I think that's an amazing career path.
Just on that note, I'm curious as to why you don't think cryptos belong in the gaming world, because GameFi is becoming bigger. I've heard different opinions. Some people agree with you that GameFi is going nowhere, but I've also talked to some GameFi CEOs, and they really believe in this vision. The integration of blockchain with gaming, you could make a lot of money with this, can you not, as a player?
So history has shown no. Like if you look at probably the most successful crypto game of all time, it's Axie Infinity. And no one really made big money playing Axie Infinity. It's why Axie Infinity today is still only popular in like Southeast Asia, where making 25 cents more a day changes your life. I think the challenge with crypto games, with Web3 games, is that the focus is not on fun. And as soon as you take the focus away from fun, people don't come back. Like the play to earn, play to own, whatever you put after the two, those don't have a huge impact on a player's psychology the way fun does. And the example for a World of Warcraft player, you'll appreciate this. The story I always tell is, I did the Frost Saber mount quest line, which it was a rare mount that you could get in World of Warcraft.
Okay. Not everyone watching this nerdy like us.
Oh, hold on, I'll explain. It was an animal you could ride in the game. Okay?
All right.
But to get it, you had to do the same quest over 1,200 times.
I hate that grind.
And I did it, and I don't own it. I don't have an NFT of it, and I don't care. It was fun. And as soon as you lose sight of the fun, nothing else matters. There's no, you don't go to a movie or to a concert and expect to get paid at the end of it. The deal is, you entertain me, and I pay you in return. And the transaction is the same in gaming. As soon as you introduce crypto and Web3, it puts the game in a bit of a box, where it's like if I told you, make me a fun slot machine. You sort of can't, right? Because I've constrained the box to this business model, and this is why I think we haven't seen a successful Web3 game. I don't think we'll ever see it. I hope so, but I don't think we'll ever see one.
Just one potential use case, and maybe challenge me if you want.
Yeah.
Let's take World of Warcraft, for example. There are in-game Blizzard tokens that you can use to transact and buy virtual game items or virtual game time.
Yep.
What if that were a token, a crypto, that you could trade on the blockchain, that could be an actual currency that people outside the game could also invest in? Wouldn't that provide more, not just liquidity for the token, but also exposure for the game? Wouldn't that be a win-win?
I mean, let's go back to first principles. Would that make it more fun for the person playing the game? And if we can't answer that yes conclusively, then it's a challenge, because introducing crypto in a game is not free. There are downsides, right? First and foremost, you need a crypto wallet. So all of a sudden, the size of your potential audience for your game goes from about 3 billion gamers to what, maybe 200, 300 million active crypto wallets, something like that. You're talking about an order of magnitude decrease in the size of your addressable market. And the friction of having to do this to be able to play the game. And so I think it's not free. It's a nice thought, and I don't disagree with it, but it doesn't rank for gamers up there high enough to trump basically the fun part.
So basically, bottom line, you think the take-home message from this interview, you think gaming is going to be the largest sector in entertainment in the world?
By far, trillions, worth trillions. It'll be the largest industry on the planet, period, never mind in entertainment. Tens of trillions. This is where, again, the most wealth is going to be created over the next 20 years because of all the time and attention spent in those worlds.
Paul, really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll have more for you. Stay tuned.